AM 650, KGAB Radio, or KGAB.com if you want to join us online. 80 degrees right now, and some wispy clouds in the sky. Blake Stanley is sitting in the studio with me, and if you'd like to talk to him, Mr. Blake Stanley is running for the House of Representatives here in the state of Wyoming. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Now, why, pull yourself a little bit closer to the microphone up there, why this time did you decide to run? Because you were just telling me you were planning to run 2 years from now. Why run at all? What inspired you?
Well, what inspired me, basically, Glenn, to run was just, man, I love this nation.
Okay.
I believe now it's made a turn and kind of headed in the right direction. Love this nation, love this people, but actually I'd planned on running in 2 years.
Right.
And I was going to go back to college and get some courses I was interested in on government and take. But a little over a month ago, I was down at Charis Bible College in Woodland Park, Colorado, for a graduation. As I was leaving, I was walking across the parking lot, and as I got to my truck and opened the door, a car backed in right next to me. So it's driver to driver, and it's a middle-aged woman. She had no student ID or parking permit, so I know she was a guest. And she just said, as you were walking across, asked who I was, and she said, "Are you a student?" I said, "No, I'm alumni." And she said, "As you were walking across the parking lot, the Lord spoke to me and said that you're a statesman." And I said, "Well, I'm interested in that, and I want to come back to school and then run in 2 years." And she said, "You're supposed to be running now." Mm-hmm. And it just kind of, the light bulb come on. I had a big list on why I wasn't supposed to be running now. But
that's a big meteorite basically coming out of the sky and knocking you upside the head. All right, now you get into office. First off, what district is this? Your House district?
Statewide here.
Oh, statewide?
Correct.
Oh, it was a statewide office?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you're not running for the State House?
No.
Oh, I understand. My understanding was you were running for the... I apologize. So, okay, that means if you're going for the House of Representatives, you're going up against Liz Cheney.
That is correct.
Okay, so if you're going up against Liz Cheney, then what specifically do you want to change, or is there something that you want to change that she's been doing? Is there anything you disagree with as far as the way she's been running things there?
You know, not necessarily. I mean, she put her name on that spending bill, which I never would have, just for moral reasons.
Right.
We needed the money, I think, we need to get our military built back up some. It's still basically the strongest in the world, and when you look at it. But we need that presence out there. I'm for a limited government. I think the federal has, too much overreach into state business. Lower taxes. Because when you lower the taxes, as we're seeing, you start bringing back the economy and business. I'd like to see more business come into Wyoming, but there's kind of a catch-22 there. You start getting, you don't have the population base here, so you're going to have to bring more people in to do that. And then I wonder, will Wyoming still be Wyoming? I mean, why we like Wyoming, because of less people, and you can get outdoors and get away from the people.
But if you do end up in Washington, D.C., first off, a Wyoming cowboy like yourself, you're going to have to be in Washington, D.C.
That is correct.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted you to know that you're going to have to put up with that. And they do things a whole lot different. In fact, you might find out when you get into the halls of Congress that a lot of what they're doing is not done the way the Constitution says it should be done. So how does a lone guy from Wyoming fight that?
Well, you're just going to have to be a voice and going to have to be loud and just stand up for your principles.
All right.
Try to bring people over, and you're going to have to pray about that. One thing I tell people when I meet them, whatever bills are coming forth up there, I want a website up and post them what's coming forth. And since I am a minister, in the book of Proverbs it says there's wisdom in the counsel of many. So, the people of Wyoming that vote me into office are my many, and I want their opinion because, I'm here for the people. It says we the people, not we the few elite.
Now, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to do this. You have to take your cowboy hat off because you got to put your headphones on because there's a call right over here. And if you'd like to ask Mr. Stanley a question, 632-6500 is the phone number. Or if you're outside Wyoming, we don't care because this is a Wyoming issue. This is Glenn who's on the phone with us.
Good morning, gentlemen. This is Fred. We all agree we need lower taxes, we need more jobs, yada, yada, yada. One thing I very seldom hear any politicians talk about, if they talk at all, is the lawlessness in Washington, D.C. between the appointed folks that have been there forever and the elected folks that have been there forever. I'd like to know, have you given some thought to, do you have a plan for how we're going to clean out that damn hellhole? I'll get off the line and listen. Thanks.
That sounds like a great question. What do you got for us?
Wow, Glenn, that's a tough one there, because you're going to have to start probably right at the bottom and just work your way up there.
Well, that would be my girlfriend, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. You have to start with her.
Start with her.
And Maxine Waters and deal with that. How do you, this is part of what I'm talking about, though. There are people who just simply do not do it the constitutional way, and there's a system set up in Washington, D.C. that's designed for a guy like you just to flat out fail. In other words, in order to have any kind of power,
that is correct.
Yeah, you have to get on committees in the first
What
place.
we have to do, we have to vote the right people into office. And if you look at the principles of this country, it was founded by Christian men, and our former government set up on biblical principles. And it basically just boils down to this: if you will vote moral, men and women into office, the majority of the problems will solve themselves.
Okay.
Do you have a direct solution? That right there is a solution. It's who you put into office.
Right.
And basically we've been putting people that are professional politicians into office.
Right.
And where has that gotten us?
Let's go back to the phones over here. This is Glenn. Who's on with us?
Hi, Glenn. It's Lisa, and I'm sorry to call in twice, but I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Mr. Stanley, have you ever seen any of the episodes that are on Facebook of The Swamp?
Oh, like Draining the Swamp?
Yes, it's got Ken Buck and Glenn, help me out. Who else are on those episodes?
Oh, geez. Now, I'm not going to be able to remember those names right off the bat. But, yeah, there are some very good episodes from some people who are in D.C. as House and Senate representatives as to how things are really done in Washington, D.C., and it's far worse than you think.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to get across. Thank you.
All right. Well, and part of what she's talking about is today in Washington, D.C., if you want to get on a committee, it doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican. They're going to hand you a list of donors and so on to call, and you're going to have to raise so much money. And if you can raise the money for your party, then you can go ahead and be on that committee. And if you don't raise the money, you're not going to be on the committee. Simple as that. Both parties do this. And I bet you thought you were appointed to the committee based on merit. This is Glenn, who's on the phone.
Hey, it's Jude up at Casper.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to know how he feels about the electronic logs and the, what is it?
She's a trucker.
Yeah, the electronic logs and the mandates that Obama placed on us in 2014 for anybody who drives a truck. The average cost is about $2,800 to equip their truck. And most of us that are in Wyoming, we have really vast distances between, our stops and where we drop our cargoes. But when the weather conditions are really bad, the hours of service don't work for us because we're stuck on the sides of highways. And we can't get home because our 14 hours are up. If you make your office, or if you win, what can you do to help us take Wyoming out of that?
Well, and for that matter, you were a trucker. So you know
I am a trucker. I am a CDL driver, and I know what you're talking about, the weather and the roads. I used to haul from Dinah Nobel here in Cheyenne up to the mines up, by Wright and up by Gillette, hauling ammonium nitrate. Currently, I'm driving in the oil fields, which, we're local here, so we're exempt from that. But, where it is become a big burden, too, is on the independents, a lot of them. And, that'll have to be revised, how we have to do that. I don't have a solution on my own. We're going to have to put some heads together. But, yeah, you're definitely right. Something needs to be done about that, because what's necessarily good for, say, people back east here in Wyoming, or, say, Montana, with the vast differences in the weather, it's not good for us.
Well, and it might be a good idea to get a trucker in to answer that question, wouldn't you? With someone with experience who actually knows what it's like to be on the road. More in just a moment. AM 650 KGAB.
Summer sun means driving fun. And what's more fun than saving thousands on a new Honda at Terrell? Terrell Honda in Cheyenne. Act now and shop hundreds of available new Hondas. All summer savings priced to save you thousands. And check these out. New 2018 Honda Civics, only $193 a month. New 2018 Accords, just $198 a month. Thinking about a new SUV? How about a new 2018 Honda HR-V or CR-V? Your choice, just $211 a month. And for a limited time only, every new Terrell Honda in stock will be sold at $1,000 below invoice. That's right, $1,000 below invoice. Summer sun means driving fun. Only at Terrell Honda in Cheyenne. Terrell Honda on Westland Road, just north of High Prices, or online at terrellhonda.com. That's TYRRELL Honda.com. 36-month lease, 10% plus first payment due at lease signing with approved credit. Plus tax, title, and dealer fees. Offers may not be combined. See dealer for details.
WyomingHelpWanted.com presents the world's worst boss, the one who posts jobs on huge national job sites, looking for anyone with a pulse. We'll just call him Dave.
Dave?
Yes?
Your 2 o'clock meeting is here.
Ah, perfect. Who am I meeting with?
Dave.
Speaking.
No, your meeting is with Dave.
I don't understand.
From accounting.
Ah, now we're getting somewhere. Who am I meeting from accounting?
Dave.
Yes?
From accounting.
Yes, you already said that. I just want to know the guy's name.
The guy from accounting?
Who else would I be talking about?
It's Dave.
Of course I'm Dave. Who else should you be telling about a meeting? I just want to know the name of the guy from accounting I'm having a meeting with.
Dave.
Yes?
Sir, I quit.
Fine with me. I need a receptionist who doesn't make me guess who's coming through my door.
Don't work for a Dave. Find a boss you can respect. One who's looking for great and local talent at WyomingHelpWanted.com. Local jobs that work.
We don't discriminate against people named Dave. Dave is a common name, fun to say, and so we're using it as a catch-all for lackluster bosses everywhere. They post jobs on the big national job boards because they really don't care. Please do not write us to tell us you're a Dave who was insulted by this ad. That would be a real Dave move, Dave.
My name is Greg Taylor, and I'm running for Laramie County Sheriff. The current sheriff stated in his newspaper article that government entities need to tighten their belts, yet he and his top administrators have been or are paid in excess of $350,000 per year. He says he has built a team, yet his employee retention rate is horrible and he neglects a large segment of his staff. Finally, crime is full-time in Laramie County, but this sheriff only shows up during election years. This message is approved and paid for by Greg Taylor for Laramie County Sheriff.
Back to KGAB's Wyoming Wake Up with Glenn Woods on AM 650 KGAB.
Time is 9:48. Sitting in the studio with me, running for Liz Cheney's seat, is Mr. Blake Stanley. It's AM 650 KGAB Radio. This is Glenn, who's on the phone.
Hi, this is Bev calling from Torrington.
Yes, ma'am.
And I have 2 questions. First of all, I would like to know if you support our president. And the second one is your feelings on building the wall.
Okay, good questions. What do you got?
Well, Deb, it's glad to meet you. Yes, I do support our president. As a matter of fact, I worked on his campaign. As far as building the wall, we definitely need to do something there on border security. Whether that totally is the answer, I can't say. I am behind the president, but we need something on border security because it's a flood coming in here, and it's a big burden on the taxpayers. I have a brother; it's a medical doctor, and he says it's a huge burden on our healthcare system.
Well, let me ask you that, since we're talking. You have a brother who's a medical doctor. Well, we're still struggling with some problems here in America, but Obamacare is still a problem, of course. But in general, high costs of healthcare in America, and your solution would be.
Well, we need to get rid of the Obamacare. I mean, it drove health care cost up a lot. Yeah. The affordable health care is not too affordable, I can go to the VA. I'm a doctor, but I'm a doctor. I'm a veteran. But, I have friends that on Obamacare that, said their medical costs went through the roof, as far as, going and getting insurance once it became in.
Let's go back to the phones real quick. This is Glenn. Who's with us?
Chris in Denver. I like the guest Fu Manchu mustache. I wish I could grow one like that.
What you got for us, Chris? Real quick.
In any event, with the Supreme Court coming down, the Anthony Kennedy retiring, we're going to get another Neil Gorsuch. If Hillary Clinton would have won, I don't know if I'd be singing the same song, but are you guys both for single-party rule? I mean, at the end of the day, should conservatives really run the show? Honest appraisal in your heart.
Okay, go for it.
Well, it is we the people in this country and the way it is set up. I mean, whether we're for that or not, that's how the system is set up, and you vote people into office, and pretty much through time we've had that. I mean, it's not always been evenly split.
Right.
And being the form of government we have, you're usually going to have one party that's stronger than the other.
Right. Okay, so I guess since we're selecting a new justice, which is going to drive some people absolutely crazy the next few weeks. This is going to be fun from a talk show host point of view. But Constitutionalist, conservative? What are you looking for next Supreme Court justice?
You know, I tend to be constitutionalist myself. Okay. You know, that's the way the country was set up to be run, and that's the way I try to follow everything.
All right. One more break, and then last segment with Mr. Blake Stanley. AM 650, KGAB Radio.
Celebrate Independence Day by saving big money during Menards 4th of July sale. Menards has the appliances you're looking for with all of the latest features and the stylish looks you want in your home. Check out the wide selection of Whirlpool appliances, from washers and dryers to refrigerators. Right now, a stainless steel tub, front-load washer, and matching dryer with Wrinkle Shield are on sale for $697 each. Sale prices are good through July 4th during Menards 4th of July sale.
Save big money at Menards.
When you're having trouble expressing your feelings, flowers say it best. Hi, this is Jane with Bouquets Unlimited. We specialize in expressing words with flowers. You can choose from our extensive line of bouquets that will express your thoughts, whether you're sending happy thoughts, many thanks, or your love. Flowers say it best. Stop by 5709 Yellowstone Road. Bouquets Unlimited. Very simply, the very best.
Flowers and gifts, you know. Call 637-ROSE. Bouquets Unlimited.
It's AM 650 KGAB Radio. My name is Glenn Woods. Thanks for joining us. If you got any calls for Mr. Blake Stanley, we got a couple of minutes left in the program. Phone number, get involved, 632-6500. That's 632-6500. He's running for Liz Cheney's seat. So most politicians, when they set themselves up, Mr. Stanley set up a platform. They have a certain message. I know you're a simple guy from Wyoming. So what would be the message that you're delivering to the people of Wyoming, why they should vote for you over Liz Cheney?
Well, all I'm saying is what I've always said. With our form of government, this country was founded by Christians, okay? And our form of government set up on biblical principles. And when I spoke the other night over in Pine Bluffs, I just said this election, whether it be state or federal, is very important. So you need to look at your candidates, you know, look at what you can find on their backgrounds, and just vote accordingly. The principle, if you just would put moral people, you know, and godly people in office, that's what works. The problems of this nation will solve themselves. They're not going to happen overnight.
Okay.
But, it is going to make a difference. And, I am a man of God. I am a Christian. I don't shove it down people's throats, but that's who I am.
Mm-hmm. Get back to the phones real quick. We've got a couple minutes left. This is Glenn. Who's on the phone?
Hey, Glenn, Fred again. I apologize. Well, I guess what I was trying to say before is if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. What I'd like to know is, does he have a plan with this platform of how he is going to implement it within our system of government? I'm so tired of seeing people like John Barrasso stand behind Mitch McConnell with a grave look on his face, and they had 8 years to assemble, remove and replace for Obamacare and many other things, and they had nothing and they did nothing. That's not leadership. So what's this fella's plan? Because, again, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Well, and let's also, on that note, let's talk experience, because some people are going to hit you with, well, you don't have any political experience. You've been a gentleman who's been out there working in Wyoming. Actually working for a living out there. So if you show up in Washington, D.C. without experience, and like this gentleman's asking, and without a plan, you want to get things done how?
Well, a big part of my plan here is, like I said, we're set up as we the people. The people of Wyoming vote me in. I will have a website up with forthcoming bills and everything, and I want the people of Wyoming, I want their input on what to vote. Like I said, in the book of Proverbs, it says there is wisdom in the counsel of many. Well, the people of Wyoming will be my many, you know, plus I'll have some mentors or men I trust that are in other offices. And if I have any gray area or question on that, I want everybody's input, whether I take it or not, you know.
Right.
It says there's wisdom in the counsel of many in the book of Proverbs, and I believe that. I've followed that in my life, and it's helped me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, in as far as the way Washington, D.C. does some things, though, you're going to show up, I guess, with your own style and your own expectations. Then you're going to find out how Washington, D.C. does it. So that means you're going to have to learn quickly, either to figure out how to work the system as it is or change the system.
That is true.
Okay.
I want to change the system. How are we going to do that? I don't know. I believe during this election, we're already seeing it through the country. There's going to be kind of a shaking going on as far as people, losing seats, and you're starting to see underdogs come in, and unseat people. I mean, it is happening, and people have said that's going to happen, and so. There will be some allies there.
Okay, you've come in kind of late, which is something we talked about when you first sat down. You came in kind of late to this, which means you got a lot of catching up to do. I mean, you got a lot of traveling to do. Is there someplace you're going to be speaking pretty soon where people can meet you in person?
Yes, there's coming up. I believe it's on the 4th up in Lions Park. There's going to be a Second Amendment rally,
right?
And I intend to be there.
Okay, so people get a chance to shake your hand there. Now, between now and let's face it, these things in Wyoming are settled in primary time. So between now and primary time, do you have a new set of tires on your vehicle?
Pretty new. They got maybe 10,000 miles on them.
Because you're going to be using them.
Yes, I am.
To travel around the state. You said you got some help. There's some people out there helping you with social media and other things like that.
Yeah, there's just been some people reaching out to me. I've last Sunday I was over in Pine Bluffs, and I had 2 people just follow me outside, and I was very short and to the point with what I had to say, and they just followed me outside and said, well, like what you had to say, that would be etched in people's minds,